Hello, everyone.
Okay.
I'm back, and I'm looking at the screen, and it still has the comments from the last one. That's all right. That's great. Whatever. Uh, we've got some important news today, as well as what I just spoke about. I just did a video of what happened today, which was the second day of arguments, a second of 2 days of arguments for the before the International Court of Justice. South Africa filed a petition against Israel, uh, calling what they're doing, the war in Gaza right now, genocide, and calling for an immediate cessation of the war. What I did not say, now, as you know, if you were in that video a few minutes ago, you would have seen that we've got like a circus going on in the background. We got like kids walking around singing, dancing, and everything, but everybody loved it. So we're sticking with it. Not that I could do anything anyway. It's home on a Friday night. What do you do? Kids are home. You can't do anything. Anyway, but there, by the way, to finish off that video, I did not say that the court is expected to rule in a couple days. It's not just whether or not they're going to rule on genocide, but they're going to rule also just to say, like, should Israel stop right now while we finish our investigation? So we might be able to, we might get a ruling in a couple days. But like I said as well, it may not matter if it's not enforceable. So anyway, so that's why I see these comments are still here. And I don't know what you guys see on your screen, because I want to go back and look at this later. But we had another major escalation in the war that has gone on so far for nearly 100 days between Israel and Hamas and Gaza. As if you've been following, and also I've been talking about, there's the war's going on several fronts. I did not just say that, and the cat just went to war with Daniel. Daniel, what happened? Aside from my living room, the war that's going on in several fronts, of course, this in the south, between Gaza and Israel. The north, Hezbollah has been attacking Israel. Hezbollah is based in southern Lebanon, which is on Israel's northern border. So the war is going on in the north. The war is going on in the south. And then the not WHO Houthis, the Houthis, 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 from Yemen, which is about 2,000 kilometers south of Israel, going through the Red Sea, past Saudi Arabia. They started firing missiles, and they have been coming to the defense of the Palestinians and saying, we're going to join this on behalf of our Palestinian brothers. And they have been shooting rockets, missiles, long-range missiles at Israel. Not all have gotten, very few have made it to Israel or even into Israel airspace. They are shooting generally over the Red Sea. So I'm sorry I don't have a map, but I would laugh if I have Raya's geography book right here. No, the one I don't have is the geography book. Okay, so I'm sorry I don't have a map right here, but from the Red Sea, shot through, like, past Saudi Arabia, Jordan, a little bit of Jordan, Egypt on the west side of the Red Sea. Some have landed in Egypt, some in Saudi Arabia. Some have been shot down just before getting to Eilat, which is the southernmost city in Israel, in that area on the Red Sea. And then also over the Red Sea itself by Israel, by U.S. warships and others. So another thing that the Houthis have been doing are attacking ships. Now, the Red Sea is a major shipping route. There's a lot of commerce going on, a lot of ships going through there to the different countries along the Red Sea, and they've been attacking ships. I don't think anybody has been killed, but I think there have been something like 27 different attacks. And one of the I'm just checking my notes. One of the ships was like pirated, basically, and is still under Houthi control. And so they're commercial ships. They're not warships. They're not military ships. It's they're saying that they're alleging that this one ship that they took over is somehow connected to Israel, like, or an Israeli businessman or something, but it's not. But they, the ones who aren't saying that it's not. So. So who are the Houthis? I'm going to put a link to a video that I did about who are the Houthis, because I think a lot of people didn't really know about them or much about this group when we, when this war started. So the Houthis are Ansar Allah, the fighters of Allah. And they are a Shiite Islamic organization that some call a terror group and others don't. Like, for instance, President Donald Trump, U.S. President Donald Trump said he listed the Houthis as a terror group, but President Biden took them off the terror list. Some countries have them on, some don't. They are allied with Iran, but they're there's dispute whether or not they are given their weapons armed by Iran or not. Daniel. Stop. All right. Going like this now. Okay. So anyway, so that's disputed as to like their connection with. Well, I mean, they're definitely like with Iran. The only question is exactly to what extent they get weapons, stuff like that. So anyway, so last night there was a warning, like at something like at midnight, 11 o'clock midnight, something like that, where the U.S. and Great Britain warned, we are going to, thank you, Lovella, we are going to attack Yemen. We're going to attack the Houthis in Yemen. And first of all, I read this and I'm like, we announced we're going to attack, like whatever happens to the element of surprise, but they said, no, we're going to be attacking. So I was up to like 1:30 or something like that. And anyway, I didn't see any news, but it was apparently right after that, around 1:30 a.m. our time, that the attack took place. And there were, here's a statement. Tonight around 1:30, an extensive attack was carried out on targets of the Houthis in Yemen. According to the American military, 60 targets in 16 different bases of the Houthis in Yemen were attacked with more than 100 precision missiles. The missiles were fired from fighter planes, warships, and submarines. President Biden noted that the attack was carried out by the U.S. with the cooperation of Great Britain, with the support of Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands. You heard that too, Lovella? Yeah, so this actually represents a major escalation, because now it's not just Israel fighting on all fronts, but the U.S. and Great Britain have now engaged militarily. Now, whether this is a one-off or they plan to do this more often is anybody's guess, but let me see, the aid of the attack. Qatar and Saudi Arabia, by the way, they flew over Saudi Arabia airspace. So, of course, the Saudis were somehow. Now, Saudis are traditionally, they have been at war with the Houthis and the Yemen civil war. The Houthis eventually took over Yemen recently. And there is, I mean, the country is famine, and there was like the UN said that the famine in Yemen is like one of like a catastrophic, and it's one of the worst in the world. Looking for more notes. So everybody's getting involved now. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs called on all parties for restraint. The military spokesman of the Houthis made a statement. He said that there were 73 attacks in a few different cities. 5 people were killed and 6 injured. He said the American and British enemies bear responsibility for the attacks, and we will not hesitate to attack the sources of fire on land and at sea to protect Yemen, its sovereignty, and its independence. And that aggression will not change our position toward the Palestinian people. We will continue to prevent Israeli ships or those whose destination is Israel from passing through the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea. All right, so that is a major escalation, because this also can affect American bases in Iraq and in Jordan. The 2 Shia militias in Iraq and in Jordan. You know what? Go back in my room. Go back in my room. No? To shut up. Both had said that they carried out attacks on Israeli and American installations. And they also threatened that they were Lavella. If you mean by Daniel 11, that kid sitting over there, I could believe it. But I know that's not what you mean. Okay, so the Houthis, what do you call it? Their slogan or their motto is actually "Death to America, death to Israel, death to the Jews." But they haven't done anything about it that we know of in the past. I mean, they've been focusing, I guess, on their own civil war. Most of it was with against Saudi Arabian forces in Yemen. So we haven't really ever seen them engage in regional wars, especially, Israel is frequently involved in conflicts with the Palestinians, whether rocket attacks or some stuff going on in the West Bank or whatever, and they never engaged before. So now their engagement is concerning to others as well because of the Red Sea, because of the distance and that strip of that narrow body of water where ships are constantly going through. And it's interesting that Bahrain is involved in this coalition with all these Western nations as well. So, and Bahrain has a normalization agreement with Israel. Now, so does the United Arab Emirates, but they haven't gotten involved in this issue. The UAE, though, was frequently attacked by the Houthis during the civil war, in the last 2 or 3 years. I heard of several attacks that had happened there that were attributed to the Houthis. So anyway, this is something to watch, something to, this is where this is going to go in the next couple of days. And I think it's unbelievably fascinating that we've got this now, on our this possible major escalation to watch. But I'm looking to see if there's any update right now. I did hear there were going to be more attacks, but then again, I'm not sure at this point. Somebody said an official said there's no intent to escalate the situation, but the aim is to degrade the ability of the Houthis to continue carrying out these reckless attacks. So now it is interesting to note that the reckless attacks are not the missiles launched at Israel that didn't quite make it to Israel, but the attacks on the ships. So they got involved after it threatens commerce and also military warships in the Red Sea. So anyway, that is the news for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And oh, Lovella, wow, what a question. No, I'm not. I'm not seeing. I'm not necessarily seeing that. I could be missing it, but I haven't seen like some big, you know, turning toward, you know, one faith to another. I haven't seen that here. So at the moment, but anyway, um, yeah, so that's it for now. And that's what I know up until now. We'll see what this evening brings us and whether or not we will warrant a news update and a singing session with Daniel for tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in. And if this was interesting, subscribe on YouTube. I will be doing more of these as events warrants. But thank you very much. And see ya on the other side of this. Have a great weekend, everyone.